This is the story of two men, one in Boston and the other in Singapore, and how they came together to perform a magical duet with their bare hands and some iMovie chops. Boston man opens the metronome app on his wife's phone and sets it to 84 beats per minute. 1, 2, 1, 2. Boston man reviews his own performance. He is satisfied and he says,
It's good.
He emails his performance as an attachment to Singapore. Singapore man views the performance on his phone. He is impressed and he says,
It's good.
and he records his own performance on his iPad while listening to Boston man on his headphones. Okay, this is the opening screen of Shotcut, and you basically select your project's folder, which I have already selected. You give it a name and automatic is fine, and you press start. Before you do that, I'd like to draw your attention to this number here, 1920 by 1080. This 1920 especially, the width of your video file is kind of important in Shotcut because we are going to be using this number to derive a certain number to split the screen when it comes to that point. And as long as the video that you shoot and the video that your partner shoots is this 1920 by 1080, we are golden. You don't need to worry about this. I'll be giving you the final number anyway. And if your number is not this as a starting point, and then we'll see what we do with that. Right now, 1920 by 1080 is what we are assuming your playing videos to be. Okay, I click on start, and we are ready to start. The first thing to do is to get our video files into this playlist area and then start working on the timeline area. So my playlist of Singapore man and Boston man is here. I drag them into the playlist area. So I can start with dragging one of the two into the timeline area, and I get to see the entire file. This slider here makes it magnifies the track horizontally, and if I were to pull it back to the left, it compacts it. So we'll keep it at a place where we can reasonably see the whole file. So this is right now the Singapore man's guitar. We need the Boston man's guitar also on top of that or below that. To do that, we click on this three-lined icon and add a video track. And this olive green patch is the new video track with nothing in it. The Singapore man's track has now gone down as video 1, and video 2 track is right now empty. So you take on the Boston man's track and drop it onto the empty video track and push it all the way to the left. The way it happens is whatever track is on top is the one that you get to see as a video. Whatever is at the bottom is obscured. So now let's figure out the audio bits. You can see that these first four mountains or hills represent what he seems to be saying, the count in 1, 2, 1, 2. The actual music is starting here. So what I do is I select the track by clicking on it, and then I go to the very beginning, and when I go to the beginning I get a green vertical line as also two right and left pointing arrows. I drag that in till I come to this bit where the actual music starts. The counting is gone. So I now drag this so that I can visually align it. I'll unmute the bottom track. You can see that these mountains are roughly, they are playing different bits of music in any case, but you can still see that the mountains are getting aligned roughly. And that's the job really, to fine tune the placing of these two. So if I were to now go to the beginning and play, with both tracks unmuted, you should be able to hear both the tracks. Okay, so let's say I'm reasonably happy with this. Otherwise, I could go on forever aligning the two. So now we see, when I come back to the beginning, we see that this left bit of the second track, of the track below, the Singapore Man's track, is sort of overhanging or starting earlier than the video track of the Boston Man. So we do the similar thing of going to the left, seeing the green vertical line and dragging it back so that we align it and ensure that both the tracks start at the same time. Similarly, towards the end, you find that the Boston Man's track is overhanging the other one. So we bring that in too, so that when you were to play together, they... Yeah, so they seem to end at the same time, although there is no real visual confirmation on the video on top because you're only getting to see the top video. But we'll sort that in a moment. So as of now, it appears that we have the beginnings of both the video tracks aligned, the ends of both the videos aligned, as also, hopefully, all the mountains of the two tracks, which means that the music is well aligned. So we say that the audio at this point is sorted. Let's move to the video. We need a way of now splitting the screen so that we see one guy in one half of the screen and the other in the other half. The way it happens in Shotcut is like this. We need something called filters, and that's over here. When I click on that, the playlist window is going to vanish and the filter window is going to take its place. I'm going to click on filters, and here you get filters, and it says Boston Man Guitar 2 because that is the selected track. So let's use that. If I were to click on this, you would see Singapore Man, and if I were to click on this, you would see Boston Man. It simply means that the filters will be applied to the track that is active and selected. So right now there are no filters, that's why this area is blank. So you add a plus sign, you click on the plus to add a filter, and you get a huge list of filters, quite a bit. We just need one or two, and we click first on this video because all we need is a video filter, and we go down till we see crop source. Remember, you could see other ones like crop circle and crop rectangle, but the one that we need is crop source. So right now we are going to put them, we're going to fill these with numbers. The left we are going to type 480, and for the right we are going to type 480 again. What happens is you just see that the Boston Man has now become half his size horizontally. He's in the wrong place. He's in the center. He should have been either to the right or to the left, but we'll come to that in a moment. But right now, at least he has been halved horizontally, which is a good thing. This is the part that I was telling you about. This 480 is absolutely fine if you had your original video files at 1920. Then you don't need to worry about this anymore, and you can use 480 blindly and it will work. If you don't have 1920 as your video width to start with, then the way that I got 480 is pretty simple, and that's all you need to do to that number of the width that you happen to have. I basically took 1920 divided by half, which you get what you get. You get 960, and you divide that by half, and you get 480. So if your original number, the width of your video, is anything other than 1920, you're going to divide that by 2 and divide that by 2 again. And whatever number you get is the number that you're going to fill in here. That makes basically sure that you get half the width of the original video file. Okay, so we are only now partly done. We have half of the original file of the Boston man, but of course he's in the wrong place. To get him into the right place, we need another filter, and I click the plus sign here. And this time I'm looking for size and position, a filter called size and position. That's right here. I click on that. And as soon as I click on that, the position says 0, 0, which is fine by us, and it automatically pushes him to the left. Never mind what's happening to this guy, but it automatically pushed the Boston guy to the left, and which is fine, which is what we need. So really speaking, we don't need to, if you get 0 and 0 here, you really don't need to be doing anything else. Yep. So now we are done with that. Now we select the Singapore man's video file. We are still on filters, and there are no filters on this video file yet. So we click plus, look for the crop source, and apply 480 by 480. Then click plus, add another filter, the same size and position filter. And this time the position of this first number should be 960. And there he is on the right part of the screen. Now since the audio is already aligned, if I went to the front and played, the split screen is done, the audio is aligned, and all we have to do is to go to File and export the video. And this is, you're exporting the timeline, and you export the file, give it a name, and you're done, which is just regular stuff. Okay.